Hello everybody, this is the Duke of Wellington, and I'm going to be showing you guys some gameplay footage of Lines of Battle. I'm also going to be going over kind of what strategy I'm thinking and what's going on, the general gist of this. I hope you guys enjoy. So the first thing that I'm noticing here is that he has more artillery than I do. Alright, and that's kind of going to set the tone of this battle. It's going to put me on the offensive. Now, I do have one extra cavalry and one extra infantry, which will come in handy later. However, his gun advantage is going to be very scary throughout this battle. And, I have to take that into account. Otherwise, he's going to fight to his advantage at range, and he's just going to blow me out. So right off the bat, I'm not in a great place. I tried to spawn on the right so I could use this forest here for cover. But he wasn't up for that. He spawned on the left, which means that he's going to be able to take that hill and hold it. And he's going to be able to cover all of the ground in between us with his artillery, which is not great. I might be able to use this house here for cover, but that's not nearly enough. That's not going to help my whole army. So my main plan is I'm going to move up my artillery to try to counter battery him. And while I'm doing that, I want to use my entire army to attack his flank and hopefully get around without being in direct fire of his artillery. And over the next 20 minutes, you're going to see this play out. So you're going to see Bob set up on the hill. Now, he has line of fire over that entire valley in front of him, right? So attacking right up there would be suicide. So my plan with my cavalry is to be using them as a diversion. I'm going to send them around the flank, and I hope that they turn their army and their artillery to face them, right? So if they do turn their artillery to face my cavalry, they're going to be out of position for my guns, and hopefully I can just pick them off one by one. So right now we're in the maneuver stage where we're both trying to gain an advantage any way we can. And one thing I'm noticing is that he has his infantry positioned to either side of his artillery. Now this right now is not the best idea because as you're going to see, I'm just going to go and try to attack his flank. And if he has like 5 of his infantry stuck there at the top, they're not helping, right? So I'm just going to be able to take him out and roll up his flank. Now, you're about to see me retreat my artillery a little bit, because I am a little scared. Right now, his artillery is deployed facing mine. So if I try to move mine up and try to counter battery him, I'm just going to die, right? Because I have less, so he's just going to be able to kill me, right? So I'm not going to engage my own artillery until he's fully engaged against my infantry. Now, at the same time, I'm going to try to keep my infantry out of range of his artillery as long as I can, because I don't want to be soaking up that damage. It does add up over time. And even spending like 2 or 3 turns facing 6 guns, your infantry is just going to be too weak to fight. So because I see him starting to fire at my infantry, I'm going to move up my artillery into a line that faces his, right? Because you should have your artillery in a line so that not only do you not friendly fire, all right, you want them to not be able to hit 2 or 3 units at once. And I'm also going to be continuing my cavalry flank because if I'm able to get behind his lines, that's great. Or if I'm able to get him to turn his lines, that's even better, right? So as long as my cav doesn't get caught out of position, I'm going to be okay. So you can see as the battle, as the lines are getting closer and closer together, I'm kind of starting to deploy myself into a battle formation, right? Because if you're just attacking with a jumbled mess of units, you're not going to do very well. You want to have some sense of cohesion and formation in your troops, and you'll do better every time. So here I was thinking about moving my artillery up, but I decided to give it one more turn just to make sure that he was fully committed to shooting at my infantry. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying to make it look like my cavalry is deploying to attack its flank. So I'm going to have them facing his line. But as you'll see later, this was just a diversion. I'm just trying to make it look scary. Now, of course, I can't tell you what's going on inside his head, but what I can tell you is being unpredictable is probably one of the best ways to gain an advantage in Lines of Battle. If you're making predictable movements, you're going to find that your attacks fail a lot more than if you're being unpredictable. And just do your best to not telegraph where you're going. Now you can see I'm thinking about moving my cavalry up, but I don't want to engage them yet. So I'm going to move them into a position where even if they do come into contact with the enemy cavalry, it's not going to be a full-fledged fight. I'm just trying to set them up on the flank to scare them. So after this move, I think this is when it kind of started all going wrong for him, because he does not have his artillery deployed to shoot at mine, whereas I have my artillery deployed to shoot at theirs. And worse than that for him, I can hit 2 units at once with my guns. And this essentially doubles the effectiveness of my artillery, because he only has 2 more than I do. Even if he's counter-battering me in a line, if I'm hitting 2 of his guns at once, it's worthless. Now, I'm continuing my flank around his units, but I also am a little bit wary about sending my infantry further to the left, because if I'm opening up their flanks to being shot at by his cannon, I'm going to start losing men faster than I would expect. And because of this, I am pretty much forced into making the first move. So I'm going to go and start charging up towards him. Now, he's deployed defensively, and I am expecting him to defend. Now, this move surprised me, I'll tell you that. But, you know, not in a bad way. This is kind of what I had hoped that he would do. Because now, a good piece of his army was out of formation. He thought that I was going in to attack with my cavalry, but I wasn't. It was just a diversion. So I'm going to send my cavalry back, because I think that he might follow me. And I'm going to send my infantry for an attack. And you'll see I'm posting this guy up in the house. And you're also going to see that I'm still going to be able to hit 2 of his artillery at once. And this is going to add up pretty quickly. Now, I will say this was probably the most important turn of this match, because what happens next turn kind of decides where the melee is going to be and what, you know, what it looks like. Now, I will say I'm still out of formation, which is not good. I probably should have formed up into a line before I go this close, but I am sending my troops on another move order directly towards their lines. And you're also going to see I'm going to try to skirt around his flanks with my cavalry. Now, this wasn't very good, because now my infantry's kind of cut off. Now, he is a little bit surrounded, but at the same time, his units are kind of concentrated together. So, and also on top of that, my cavalry is out of position. So I have to desperately try to get them back. And at the same time, I don't know where he's going to move his units. So I'm trying to keep my closer cavalry away, because he might turn back and attack them. At the same time, I'm going to try to line my infantry up as best I can. And, you know, since they're so close, I have to get into battle formation. Because if I got caught out of formation, I'm not going to do very well. Now, what you're seeing me do here is kind of the way that you want to be retreating or repositioning, where you kind of draw your infantry unit a little bit back and then put them back forward. You can do this to change their direction, or to kind of slide to either, you know, left or right. But really, you know, what I want to drive home here is that I'm expecting him to attack me on the next turn. He's getting close, and he has a lot of units right there. So, and also, he has his artillery in great position. Not to counter my artillery, and you can see, I'm still hitting 2 at once, and at the next turn, I'm going to basically kill his artillery advantage. So the one advantage that he has going into this match is going to be reduced to nothing. So there you go. As I expected, he did start his attack, and though my cavalry is kind of out of position for this particular attack, it's not in a terrible position because I am, you know, completely behind his lines. And at the same time, my artillery is going to be able to strafe him and start dealing some real damage. So I'm going to start moving my cavalry back up. Hopefully I'm going to be able to actually take out this artillery, and hopefully it doesn't move. Then the rest of my cavalry is, I'm just going to bring them a little bit closer and try to get them into the fight. And what you see me doing here is I'm giving these guys fire orders so that they could fire through multiple units in the flanks or the back. And this infantry I'm trying to move back just so that I don't get killed by that cav. So I see him, he's going to probably try to turn my bottom flank because he has his cavalry there. So I'm going to try to take my infantry back because I don't really want to be stretched out when I engage him. I'm not in a great position right here. He'd probably be able to destroy my line on the next turn if I don't do anything about it. So right now I'm just trying to think of ways where I can deal with his cavalry, and at the same time keep the cohesion of my line. So what I'm doing here is I'm sending one of my infantry units to go in and fight that cavalry, and the other ones are going to try to shift down and hold the brunt of the infantry, while my own cavalry has enough time to get up there to the front. So at this point, I'm just trying to think of ways where I can deal damage to his line and try to not lose units as much as possible. Right, so I'm probably going to keep my cav how it's going, because I need to deal with his arty. And at the same time, I'm going to be starting to shoot at his lines and do the best I can. So I'm going to be setting up my cavalry for a charge into his rear on the next turn. And there he goes. He's certainly attacking me in full force. I'm going to be sending my cavalry in as quick as I can. And I'm going to try to salvage the situation, but it's not looking good for me. He's already killed 2 of my infantry without me really doing too much to him. Although I have weakened him on the flank there. Now finally, I have whittled down his guns, so now I have more than him in position. And look at this flanking fire. I'm going to be able to hit almost every single one of his infantry units in one turn. This is how you get your maximum worth out of your artillery. This is going to blow apart his line by the next turn. So even though in this melee he actually has killed more of my units, he killed 3 versus me not killing any, he has put himself in a very bad position. And on the next turn I'm going to be able to capitalize on that. And you're going to see I'm just going to be firing volleys into this massive troops. He has a lot of troops in one place. And when you see that, you're going to be wanting to use your ranged weapons so that you can hit more at once. And I've also made the decision to get my cavalry back into the fight. Because if I can win out in this, brawl, I'll be able to win the actual battle. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just checking if I can hit 2 of his cannons at once. Try to get that maximum efficiency. Looks like I can't do that. So I'm just going to forget about that for now. And do my best to counter battery him. And I'm also going to be bringing my cavalry into the fight, where they can actually start doing damage. And I'm going to try to do the hammer and anvil tactics on him. Pin his infantry against with my own cav. Now, that's, usually the best way to win battles. Right now, he's not in a great position. I do have the advantage here. So at this point, the first thing that I'm seeing is that his line is has completely turned their rear to my cannon. Right, so I'm going to be able to shoot into that crowd and do a lot of damage to their remaining troops. This is probably the worst thing that he did. This is going to cause him to lose a lot more troops than he should. And at the same time, of course, I'm going to be charging with my cavalry and shooting at them with my infantry. Now you can see after this turn, I think I've pretty much won the battle at this point. There's not a lot that he can do as long as I play it well. I'm just going to continue pounding at his at the backs of the troops with my, arty, and do the best I can. Now at this point, I notice that he does have a cavalry behind my lines, so I'll send my own to take him out, just to be safe. And then I'm going to send my my own, my other cavalry to do my best at killing the units that he has left. And yeah, at this point, it's pretty much all over but the shouting. I will play on the video just so you guys can see how I end this match, because you want to be careful in your late games. But I don't really have too much for commentary. I'll break in when there's something I want to talk about. I just hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this battle. I hope you guys learned something about how to manage an army. Anyways, just let me know if you like this kind of video, because it took a long time to make. I am very happy to make them if you guys like it. There's not a whole lot of content out there. Make sure to check out Bob's the Builder's channel, and he also made a video on this battle. So it might be interesting to see, what both sides are thinking about this. Now I am recording this audio, I think the night after the battle. But Bob's the Builder's video was actually, he was doing this in real time. So he'll be able to give you guys a better I guess, ground level, impression of this battle. I'm just trying to tell you guys what I was thinking at the time. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to keep my cannons alive, and just do my best to get rid of his units one by one, so that he can't reform and then try to put up another fight against me. So from this point forward, I'm just going to speed up the video a little bit, because not really too much happens. It's pretty much already over at this point. I'm just trying to get rid of his stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because it is pretty much over at this point. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, of course. And if you have the time, go check out Bobsy Builder's video, because it's pretty good. Now, after the match is actually over, I will play the replay, so if you are interested in that, stick around. Other than that, I hope everyone has a great day. It is very late. It's almost 3 a.m., so I'm going to try to get some sleep. More videos coming very soon. I hope everyone enjoyed. Thank you.